It was an early summer afternoon, with scorching sunlight piercing through the bamboo fence, casting silent shadows. Village chief and was bustling from house to house, informing families about the new policies assigned to him from the morning meeting. His old, trusty motorbike had been his companion for over 10 years. As a result, it was quite dilapidated, its engine rattling and clanking as he rode. Many people often joked that his motorbike made more noise than a harvester. After a while, and stopped in front of a massive gate. From the outside, he gazed at the gate and the wall, which stood over 2 meters tall. This was the residence of Mr. Sinh, widely considered the wealthiest man in the region. Calling someone a foo-ho, landowner rich man, now might sound a bit anachronistic, but there was a reason for it. Sinh's family had been wealthy for over 10 generations, dating back to the feudal era. His ancestors came from the north to this and Jiang land in the south to cultivate it. Their shrewdness in seizing opportunities meant that their family not only farmed but also engaged in trade. As a result, their wealth multiplied exponentially. During the resistance wars against the French and Americans, their business continued, though it didn't boom excessively. This was partly because his family had a tradition of supporting the revolution. In fact, Sinh's grandfather had even funded the army in the jungle and border areas with gold and provisions. After liberation, his family received numerous commendations, and precisely because of their contributions to the country, by Sinh's generation, he was given favorable conditions to expand his fortune. Currently, Sinh owns over a dozen companies operating in various sectors. Furthermore, the people of Entai village admired him for 2 reasons. Firstly, despite his immense wealth, he always chose to live in the village, never moving to the city or other luxurious places. His presence in the village greatly benefited its infrastructure. Roads, lighting systems, and even irrigation were largely due to his donations. The second reason for their affection was his kindness. Not just during major holidays, but every full moon day, he, his wife, children, and other family members would distribute gifts to impoverished households. Thus, the villagers grew increasingly fond of Mr. Sinh. However, as the saying goes, nobody is perfect, and Mr. Sinh also carried his own worries and burdens. He and his wife, Xuan, had 4 children in total. They were named Long, Lan, Kui, and Feng, symbolizing the 4 sacred animals in Feng Shui. The first 3 children were sons, and Feng was their youngest daughter, who had just turned 25 this year. Feng had graduated from university and returned to their hometown to manage the family's agricultural company, assisting her father. A little more about his 3 sons. Currently, Mr. Sinh only had 1 son left, Kui. He was 30 years old this year. Kui had married 2 years prior, but before they could have children, they went their separate ways. Since then, he had dated another person, but marriage wasn't yet on the cards, and that relationship also didn't work out. Mr. Sinh's first 2 sons had both passed away. Long, the eldest, died from a waterborne illness when he was still very young. Lan's death was even more tragic. At that time, Lan was a brilliant and handsome young man. Mr. Sinh had planned for his son to study abroad after graduating from university. However, all his plans became meaningless because, during a trip to Dalat, Lan fell off his motorbike and lay in the middle of the road. The fall wasn't too severe, but tragically, a truck coming from the opposite direction, despite attempting to brake, couldn't stop in time. The accident disfigured Lan's body so badly that some people couldn't bear to look, and it took Mr. Sinh a considerable amount of time to regain his composure. Losing his first 2 sons, coupled with his and his wife's inability to have more children, led Mr. Sinh to place all his hopes on Kui. But perhaps this hope was too overwhelming, because Kui was not like his elder brothers. Even during his school years, he was an average student, and despite his parents' investment in his education as he grew older, nothing changed. Kui only made it to his 3rd year of university before being expelled due to excessive failed courses. For a straightforward man like Mr. Sinh, he never wanted to use money or connections to ensure his son graduated. Even with his immense resources, he could easily have bought his son an excellent degree, but he chose to let Kui live according to his own abilities. After dropping out, Kui worked for tech companies in the city. He genuinely had a passion and good aptitude for computers. Therefore, Mr. and Mrs. Sinh advised their son to return home, and they would open a company for him to trade computer and electronic products. Additionally, Kui had also invested in cryptocurrency, so he was, to some extent, standing on his own 2 feet. Back in the present and stopped his motorbike, picked up his briefcase filled with documents and approached the large gate. He gently pressed the doorbell outside. The ringing echoed inside the spacious 3-story house. A figure quickly hurried out. It was Mrs. Hai, the Sinh family's housekeeper, whose son, Phuoc, worked as a gardener and driver for the couple when they had errands. According to Mrs. Hai, Mr. Sinh even paid for Phuoc's driving lessons 5 years ago. Mrs. Hai squinted, looking out the gate, and asked, "Who's there?" "Mrs. Hai, it's village chief in here. Is Mr. Sinh home?" "Yes, the master just returned from an errand. He's currently having tea with his pet bird. What brings you here, sir?" "Oh, nothing major. Just a few things the commune wants me to announce. I have to go to each household to inform them." "Ah, I see. Please, let me open the gate and invite you in." As the gate swung open and steered his motorbike inside, Mr. Sin's yard was vast, filled with an abundance of greenery. However, everything was meticulously trimmed and neat, exuding an air of elegance rather than clutter. Passing a few bonsai pots, and saw Mr. Sin sitting under the eaves. On the table were a teacup set and a bird cage. Being elderly, Mr. Sin had a great passion for plants and birds. Whenever the village held bird-singing competitions, he participated and even sponsored prizes for everyone. As Sin stepped closer, he called out, "Mr. Sin?" Mr. Sin turned, recognizing him, and smiled brightly. "N, is that you? What brings you here today? Come, sit down and have some tea with me. I just discovered this tea, it's very fragrant, brewed from lotus leaves." "Thank you, but I actually came here for something specific today, not just to visit." "Whatever it is, just sit down first." After Mr. Sin poured him a cup of tea and took a sip before beginning to explain. "Mr. Sin, the commune will soon be distributing new civil status documents and digitizing all records. You know how crude the computer room at our committee office is, only 2 or 3 machines. And the staff's computer knowledge is just basic theory. I'm afraid we'll fall behind on data entry and lose points in our performance review. So I propose to the commune committee that we contact your son, Kui, for the data entry part, as he is skilled. And his staff are also very capable. The committee has agreed. If possible, could you talk to him about it? Also, the union will cover the costs, considering it an employment fee, so if he agrees, he'll definitely be paid fairly." Mr. Sin burst out laughing. "And my dear, and what are you talking about? Money? No need for that. I'll tell Kui that once it starts, he and his team will get it done. Please tell everyone at the commune that I won't take any money for this. Consider it a contribution to the local community. From now on, for matters like this, you don't need to mention money. I'll help as much as I can." "On behalf of everyone, I thank you very much, Mr. Sin. Though I know the money isn't much to you, it still needs to be clear." "I understand. Is there anything else, N?" "That's basically it. The other announcements I read didn't concern your family, so I skipped them. Now, would you mind staying a bit longer and having some wine with me? It's been a while since we've had a drink together. You've been so busy with 100 things lately, haven't you?" "Yes, always busy. But now I'd love to drink with you. Just a little though, okay? I have a meeting tomorrow morning." "All right, Mrs. Hai." "Yes, master." "Come to the kitchen and prepare some snacks for us, please." "Yes, sir." After Mrs. Hai left, Mr. Sin stood up and went into the living room. A moment later, he returned with a glass bottle of wine in his hand. "And do you know what kind of wine this is? It's fermented sticky rice wine, brewed in a traditional oven. It's from the Northwest region, specially sent to me. Before, you weren't interested in Western or Chinese wines, only this type." And nodded, "Me too. At parties, people often bring out foreign wines, but they taste harsh and leave an unpleasant feeling in the mouth, don't they?" "Exactly. Because we're so alike, I always want to drink with you. While we wait for the snacks, let's have a glass or two, shall we?" "Yes, thank you." After his first sip of wine, and looked around and asked, "Where are your wife and the 2 children, Mr. Sin?" "My wife, she's been away on business for a few days, probably won't be back until early next week. Kui is at the warehouse right now. He said he was going to pick up a large computer order. Ever since he opened the store in town, he's been home less often. What can you do? He's young and prefers lively, crowded places to our entire village. Now my main worry is Feng. She's such a workaholic. She always comes home late, even during Tet. She asked me to give her another company to manage. See. And heard this and exclaimed, "Goodness, that girl is really smart, isn't she?" Oh, I don't want her to be that smart. I'm happy Kui has a sister like her, but my wife and I just want Feng to quickly settle down, get married, and have children. She's 25 now, but if she keeps going like this in 5 years, she'll be an old maid. Who would want to marry her then? You worry too much, Mr. Sin. I see plenty of men who are charmed by her. But perhaps they find her too capable, and your family's position makes them feel inferior. Inferior? Why? My wife and I have discussed this many times. Our criteria for choosing a son-in-law or daughter-in-law are very simple. They just need to be decent human beings, know integrity, loyalty, and how to love and yield. Honestly, it's not about money. My family's wealth will last for generations, it will never run out. So why would we be greedy for a rich son-in-law? You're right, Mr. Sin, that's what I meant. My wife and I were hesitant before, but after Quiz failed marriage, I changed my mind. They know it too. Quiz ex-wife came from an educated family, had power, status, and even wealth, perhaps not inferior to ours. But the crucial thing was that she came here and failed to fulfill her duties as a wife and daughter-in-law. All she cared about was partying and having fun. Luckily, Kui ended it early. Otherwise, my whole family might still be suffering because of that girl. I heard people say she was arrested 2 months ago for drug-related charges. And looked surprised. What? Arrested? I don't know what her situation is now, but I heard rumors it might be related to possession or use of illegal substances. Goodness. Before, Kui used to say that during their marriage, his ex-wife often encouraged him to go out and do unhealthy things. Heavens, I truly can't believe it. Well, that's in the past, let's not dwell on it. Mr. Sin nodded in agreement. Just then, Mrs. Hai came from the kitchen carrying a tray with 3 plates of snacks. The first was roasted peanuts. The second consisted of grilled sun-dried squid dipped in chili sauce. The third was various cold cuts and pickled tea. Mr. Sin looked at the tray, nodded, and explained, "These are all homemade snacks we always have around. Whenever I'm bored, I just bring them out." As he waited for Mrs. Hai to place the dishes on the table, Mr. Sin suddenly remembered something. Oh, I almost forgot. Mrs. Hai, this weekend, start preparing for the death anniversary. There will be some important guests from the city coming, so I need you to prepare everything perfectly. If you need anything, just tell my wife. Yes, master, I understand. With that, Mrs. Hai excused herself to go back to the kitchen to prepare dinner. Once she was gone and became curious and asked, "Oh, Mr. Sin, is there a death anniversary coming up at your house?" "Yes, it's Long's death anniversary, my eldest son." Long, how could I forget him? I still remember that day clearly. I hadn't even become village chief yet. I was just returning from the fields when suddenly, your wife and you carried him in your arms, frantically running towards the village road. I saw that and immediately ran after you, only to find out the boy had a high fever and was convulsing. At that time, medical conditions in this area weren't advanced or modern, so when he was taken to the clinic, there was no equipment. We had to put him in an ambulance and send him to a higher-level hospital, but by the time he got there, the poor boy couldn't make it. Mr. Sin nodded sadly. Yes, that's right. That time my wife had just given birth to Lan. I thought after that tragedy our family couldn't endure any more loss. But then, Lan also left us. And noticed the sadness on his friend's face and quickly interjected, "All right, let's not bring up past sorrows. Let them be. Come, let's drink. Let's have a few more glasses before I have to go." "Ah, yes, please, N." It was past 6:00 p.m., the sky was still dim, not fully dark. And Mr. Sin continued to drink, finishing almost half a bottle of wine. Just then, Feng, Mr. Sin's youngest daughter, arrived. She parked her scooter in the corner of the yard. Spotting N, Feng smiled brightly. "Father, Uncle N, have you just arrived?" "Feng, is that you? Your father and I have been talking about you all this time." "Talking about me? What else could it be besides your marriage? Your father said you need to bring a son-in-law home soon. My family can arrange it, you know. I know many decent, well-behaved young men in this area. Some are even teachers, very educated and intelligent." Oh my goodness, father. Love is a personal matter, let me handle it myself. What era is this, still arranging marriages? Actually, since we're on the subject, I should tell you, I already have a boyfriend. What, are you serious, child? I'm serious, father, you have to believe me. What's his name, how old is he, where is he from? He's not in Vietnam. What, are you planning to marry a foreigner? I don't agree with that. I'm too old now, I don't want to learn a foreign language. Goodness, father, you misunderstand. He's studying abroad. Actually, we met when we were both studying in the city. After graduation, I came back home and he went to study abroad. A few months ago, he came back to Vietnam and we reconnected. After that, we started talking more. He proposed a few days ago and I said yes. Is that so? But after he finishes his studies, will he come back to Vietnam? I don't want you to be a daughter-in-law overseas. Don't worry, father. He's not only coming back to Vietnam, but he's also going to live here with our family. Oh, it's true, it's true. He plans, if things go well for us, to help me with the family business, so he can't go anywhere else. Well, that settles it then, my child. And, hearing the father and daughter talk, interjected, Mr. Sinh, it seems your worries have finally eased. Feng, I wish you and your boyfriend a happy couple. When the wedding comes, don't forget to invite your Uncle An, okay? Of course, Uncle, you'll be one of the first people we invite. Anyway, I'll excuse myself to go shower and check on company matters. Father, Uncle An, please enjoy yourselves. Go, go, Mr. Sinh nodded as Feng walked inside. He then shook his head. That girl, all she does is work besides her essential personal activities. Now you and I, let's continue drinking. And nodded but only had a couple more glasses before getting up and excusing himself to leave. Leaving Mr. Sin's house and slowly drove home. His house wasn't far, only about 500-600 meters away. When he arrived, he saw his wife, Lynn, already sitting at the dinner table. Smelling the alcohol on him, she frowned. You said you were going to a meeting and working with the villagers. Why do you look like you've been drinking? My dear, I was working, but after I finished, I stopped by Mr. Sin's house, and he offered me a dozen glasses of wine. He's a close friend, it would have been rude not to drink. It's not that I want to forbid you, but we're getting old. I know, just eat your dinner, don't worry, I'm hungry too. I only had a few sips of wine earlier, not much food. Go wash your face and hands, I'll get you some rice. A little more about An's family. Although he held the position of village chief, outside of his duties for the village and commune, he and his wife still toiled on their 2 rice fields. This was their livelihood, where they lived with their only son. An's son was not currently in the village. He had married, had a child, and moved to the city for office work. Only occasionally, during holidays or death anniversaries, would his son's family come back to visit. As a result, An and his wife were left alone in their small, modest house. The sky had darkened a bit, and finished dinner and sat watching the news on TV. Mrs. Lin and he used the space to paint. She took on embroidery work to earn extra income, each finished piece bringing in over 100,000 dong. Though not much, it helped pass the time during leisure and supplemented their expenses. Just then, An heard his phone ring. Who's calling at this hour? He wondered. He stood up and walked to the wooden cabinet where his phone was charging. Lin quickly interjected, I hope it's not someone inviting you out to drink again. If you go out again, you'll be in trouble with me. I know. He looked at the number and name on the screen and realized it was the commune police chief's number. What does this guy want now? He muttered. Hello, I'm listening. But An's eyes widened in horror at whatever the person on the other end said. He gasped, stammering, Is that true? He rushed to grab his jacket and helmet. Lin saw her husband's frantic actions. What's wrong, dear? Something serious has happened. What's serious? Tell me, you know how curious I am. Kui, Mr. Sin's son, was in a traffic accident. What? Are you serious? I just received the notification from the commune police. They said Kui had an accident on the provincial road leading to the town. Is he all right? He's gone. What did you say? Kui is gone, he died instantly. Exactly what happened, they're still verifying. I have to go to Mr. Sin's house to inform him. Kui's phone was broken, so he couldn't call his family. The police called me instead. Go on then, let me know what happens, okay? I know, lock all the doors and windows in the house, okay. After instructing his wife, and quickly got on his old motorbike. For the second time in a few hours, he headed back to Mr. Sin's house, but this return was anything but joyful. Reaching the gate and pressed the doorbell several times. Just like that afternoon, Mrs. Hai quickly came out. Who is it? It's an village chieftain. Did you forget something, sir, that you're back? Is Mr. Sin home? Yes, but after you left, the master had a few more drinks and is now lying down, drunk. Please, open the gate quickly, I have urgent news. What news? Just open the gate quickly. Anne's urgency made Mrs. Hai flustered, and she quickly unlocked the gate, and immediately ran inside. Mr. Sin. After several calls, a figure appeared on the stairs. It was Feng. Uncle An, are you here to visit? Visit? Where's your father? Tell your father to come down, something serious has happened. What is it? Kui, your brother, he died in an accident. What, brother Kui? Feng froze, but quickly turned and ran upstairs. A moment later, Mr. Sin's voice echoed, probably in disbelief. When both father and daughter came down to the living room, Mr. Sin immediately grabbed Anne's hand. And my friend, what is it? What happened to my Kui? When Anne recounted the story, Mr. Sin shook his head, tears streaming down his face. No, it can't be. Just this morning I called Kui, and he said he would stay tonight. It's impossible. Mr. Sin snatched up his phone and called his son. Very quickly, there was a response on the other end. Hello, Kui. Kui, my son, are you all right? It's your Uncle An. He paused, not needing to say more. Just by seeing the devastated look on Mr. Sin's face, and Feng knew that the person on the other end of the line was not Kui, and they also confirmed that what An had said was true. In the middle of the night, Mr. Sin's large 3-story house was filled with villagers, all expressing shock and disbelief over Kui's sudden death in the accident. The initial police investigation determined it was a self-inflicted fall, and Kui even showed signs of intoxication. According to statements from acquaintances, before driving, Kui had attended a drinking party with his company employees. After drinking, he rushed out and got on his vehicle. Several people tried to stop him, asking where he was going in such a drunken state. He didn't answer, only smiled. No one could have known that would be the last time they saw him. In the spacious living room, as a tense atmosphere enveloped everyone, Kui's body had completed all procedures and was brought home for the funeral. The accident had not only severely disfigured his body, but also caused a fatal head injury from hitting the road. No more blood flowed from him now. Feng knelt beside her brother's body, weeping uncontrollably. Mr. Sin, however, sat frozen. He didn't cry like his daughter, but just stared blankly. Yet his lack of tears wasn't due to a lack of love for his son. It was because he was utterly bewildered by what had happened. Sometimes, he couldn't even accept this reality. The remaining family member, Mrs. Xuan, had not yet been informed because she was away on business. And since it was nighttime, Mr. Sin didn't want to worry his wife and have her return immediately. He would call her in the morning about this unfortunate event. And looked at his watch. It was nearly 1:00 a.m. He had helped with various small tasks until now, but remembering his meeting in the morning, he walked over and gently placed a hand on Mr. Sin's shoulder. Mr. Sin, I am so sorry for your loss. At this moment, I don't know what to say, but I hope you stay calm. It's done. Now the important thing is to give Kui a proper funeral. Hearing these words, Mr. Sin sighed. And my friend, why is there so much suffering? Is heaven so cruel? Why does it keep bringing me such heartache? First Long, then Lan, and now Kui. Does God want my family to have no descendants? Please calm down, Mr. Sin. An accident is an unforeseen event. No amount of sorrow will bring Kui back to life. Listen to me, try to calm down. Now, I should go home. If you or Feng need anything at all, please call. Don't hesitate or feel reserved. I understand, En. Please go home. Thank you for informing me and helping with the procedures. Seeing the scene earlier, my heart ached so much. It's nothing, I'll head back now. And patted his friend's shoulder a few more times, then turned and left, getting on his motorbike and sighed deeply. He tried to start the bike, but it just kept sputtering. He muttered, worried it was acting up again, feeling a bit helpless when the bike wouldn't start, and decided to walk home. When he arrived, he saw his wife, Lin, waiting by the dinner table. Seeing her husband, she immediately asked, "How was it over there?" You called and your voice sounded so frantic, my hands and feet went numb. Poor Mr. Sin, and nodded sadly. Yes, things are somewhat stable now. They said the burial will be tomorrow morning at 9:00 a.m. and the funeral will start at 10:00 a.m. Mostly they're waiting for Mrs. Kshuan to return. I don't know how she'll react when she hears this news. It's so tragic. That family keeps losing their sons, one after another. Well, it's late now. I'll go wash up and you lock up the house. Let's go to bed. I have an important meeting at the commune committee tomorrow morning. I'll need you to go visit them after you've been to the fields and offer your condolences to Mr. and Mrs. Sin. I know, don't worry, dear. The next morning and woke up to the sound of his alarm clock. He put on a neat shirt but felt a pang of frustration when his old motorbike wouldn't start. All they had left was his wife's bicycle, which she needed for shopping and going to the fields, and decided to ask his neighbor if anyone was going to the market or the commune office so he could hitch a ride. Fortunately, after an explained his situation, Mr. Vu, his neighbor, immediately agreed. On the way, Mr. Vu also asked, "And you know about Mr. Sin, right?" "Yes, I know. In fact, I was the one who delivered the news yesterday." Goodness, thinking back, it's truly heartbreaking for him. He had 3 sons and all 3 died young. It's such a pity, but what can you do? Misfortune never comes alone. Now, only Feng is left in that house. Luckily, that girl is so capable, I thought she wouldn't disappoint Mr. Sin. Not necessarily, Vu. You say that, but deep down, she's still just a woman. No matter how capable, how can she compare to a son? Who will Mr. Sin rely on in the future to carry on the family name and tend to the ancestral altar? And, being a man of more progressive thought, quickly replied, "What era are we in, still valuing men over women? If it's about tending to the altar, can't daughters or granddaughters light incense? You shouldn't say such things. People in the village will hear and gossip, and it won't be good. You understand what I mean, right?" I understand. I'm only saying this to you because I know your character. I don't gossip outside. Well, we've reached the commune office. Please drop me off here. Thank you very much." And waited for Mr. Vu's car to stop, then stepped out. And in a flash on the road ahead, he saw a truck driving by. Inside the truck bed was a coffin. Following the direction the truck was heading, and guessed this was Quiz's coffin. He sighed a little, muttered a few words of sadness, then slowly walked into the commune office. And's meeting that day was tense due to several issues and rumors of an upcoming inspection, so it didn't finish until the afternoon. Stepping out of the commune gate, he was both hungry and tired, partly due to the scorching sun and partly because he hadn't eaten anything since morning. Luckily, he saw an acquaintance and waved to ask for a ride home. When he arrived, he found his wife sitting by the dinner table, and quickly approached, exclaiming, "The food smells so good. I'm starving. Sometimes I think if it weren't for you, I don't know what my life would be like. You came back late after going to the fields. I called you earlier, but you didn't answer." "How could I answer? I was in a very tense meeting, but everything's settled now. Oh, did you remember what I asked you to do? Did you go to Mr. Sin's house yet?" "Yes, I went. Quiz's body was interred at 9:00 a.m. and the funeral started at 10:00 a.m. Many people came to pay their respects. The yard was packed with wreaths. It's to be expected. Mr. Sin knows many people. And his wife, Mrs. Kshuan, did she know the news yet?" "Yes, she was informed early this morning. Poor her. When I saw her, she was collapsed, screaming for her son. When they were putting him in the coffin, they had to hold her back for a long time before she'd let go." And sighed, but then noticed the strained look on his wife's face. "What's wrong, dear? Are you not feeling well, or is there something else you want to tell me?" I don't know if I should tell you this." "What are you learning from these people? What is it? Just tell me. You and I are husband and wife. Are you planning to keep secrets from me?" "No, it's not that, but I know your temper, so I didn't dare to say anything." "Just tell me, don't beat around the bush, it's annoying." "All right, I'll tell you. This morning, after paying my respects and lighting incense for Kui, I was sitting outside, chatting with some villagers. Do you know what they were gossiping about?" "What were they gossiping about?" "They're saying Mr. Sin's family is cursed." "A curse? Where?" "They say his family is cursed with young deaths. It's true, isn't it? There's no other family around that has so many young deaths. Don't you think so?" Lynn said, then noticed a gentle glare from her husband. Do you know what you're saying? I just heard people gossiping. I don't know where it came from. But do you know what's scary about gossip? It's not from the person who starts it, but from those who spread it. Try to put yourself in Mr. and Mrs. Sin's shoes. How would you feel if someone said such things while you were grieving? Well, it's true, what people say isn't wrong. Just let women gather together and they'll start trouble. So, from now on, I forbid you from gossiping or spreading rumors. Understood? I know. Come sit down and eat dinner. And sat down, still not forgetting to scold his wife for a moment. After finishing his meal, he got up to leave. The first thing he did was take his motorbike to the repair shop at the edge of the village. After leaving it with the owner and instructing him, he then walked directly towards Mr. Sin's house. When he arrived, although N's wife had told him about the large, crowded funeral, witnessing it firsthand still surprised him. Not only was the area around the main altar packed with people, but there was also a separate table specifically for the Buddhist monks, perhaps over a dozen of them, he estimated, and reached into his pocket to check the envelope he had prepared for the offering on the way there. Then, he cautiously stepped inside. Once inside, it was already his turn to pay respects, so he had to find a seat and wait for almost an hour before he could enter the main hall. Standing there, Feng, with her red, swollen eyes, was receiving incense and accepting condolences. One could tell how much she had cried, and took the incense stick and didn't forget to ask, Feng, where are your parents? Uncle, my mother fainted earlier from the heat and overwhelming grief. My father is currently at the hospital. Poor them. Just then, Anne's eyes fell upon Qui's portrait on the altar. The familiar face made his heart skip a beat, for even in his imagination, he had never envisioned seeing Qui through a photograph like this. Placing the incense stick in Feng's hand, he muttered a silent prayer, hoping Qui's soul would find peace soon. After planting the incense, he placed the condolence envelope on the table. Next, he walked a circle around the coffin. This was indeed the coffin Anne had seen in the truck. It was an expensive coffin, its glossy finish shining. Halfway around, and suddenly heard a few thumping sounds as if coming from inside the coffin. He stopped, trying to listen intently. The thumping stopped, and dismissed it as his imagination and proceeded to step out, making way for the next guest. Outside, under the eaves, since Mr. Sin and his wife weren't there and didn't know whom to talk to, he decided to leave. He figured he would visit them later that night, after the couple had been discharged from the hospital, to offer his condolences. Anne's next stop was the repair shop. When he arrived, the owner immediately called out, Uncle Anne, just wait a moment, please. The chain on this bike is completely broken. I haven't finished fixing it yet. Oh, that's fine, I'm not in a hurry. Did you go to the funeral? Yes, I just came from there. It was very crowded there, wasn't it, Uncle? I probably would have gone in the morning, but it was too busy. And I'm the only one at the shop, no one to help, so I just sent the condolence money with a neighbor. Yes, it was very crowded. Poor Qui, he died so suddenly. Just a few days ago, he stopped by my shop and asked me to patch his tire, but his tire was really old. I told him to just replace it with a new one, but he refused, saying it was still usable. I joked that his family was so rich, yet he was so stingy. He got upset with me then, saying even if he had a lot of money, it wasn't for me to spend. I felt a bit offended and angry with him then. But now, hearing that Qui passed away, I truly feel sorry for him. And nodded, Qui's death should be a lesson for you young people. Whatever you do, don't drink and drive. If it's just in the village, that's one thing. But driving back from town completely drunk like that is too dangerous. That road is full of potholes. Anyone with unsteady hands would fall, let alone a drunk person. I know, Uncle. That's why I never drink and drive outside. At most, if I crave a drink, I'll have it at home. It's safer that way. That's good. It's heartbreaking to witness parents burying their children. Oh, Uncle N, I wonder when Mr. Sin will go to retrieve Qui's soul. What do you mean, retrieve his soul? Qui died in a traffic accident and he died on the road. They have to retrieve his soul. How else can he come home by himself? N, hearing this, maintained his usual view. He believed that when someone died, that was the end. The idea of a soul lingering at the accident site was just a way for mediums to scam people out of money, not to mention the risk of being deceived. Newspapers constantly reported on cases where these masters claimed to be trustworthy and performed divine work, but then were exposed as frauds. This isn't an era where you can find a reliable master that easily. After chatting for a while longer, N's motorbike was repaired. He paid the owner and got on his bike. The bike now started, but the clanking noise was still there. The shop owner joked, "Uncle N, when are you going to retire this motorbike? It's really old, you know," and just chuckled. "As long as it can be repaired, I'll keep riding it. When it can't be fixed anymore, then I'll think about it. All right, I'm going home now. You guys keep working hard." "Yes, goodbye, Uncle." The motorbike slowly rolled away and drove back to his house. When he arrived, he saw Lynn picking vegetables under the eaves. Hearing the sound of her husband's motorbike, she grumbled slightly. "What is that noise? It sounds like a tractor in the fields. I told you you spend so much on repairs. Save some money and buy another bike. Even a used one would be better than this old clunker. What if you break down on the road someday?" "You worry too much. If it breaks, I'll fix it. Nowadays, there's a motorbike repair shop every few hundred meters or a kilometer. It's not like we're in the middle of nowhere." Just then, his phone rang, and pulled it out of his pocket, squinting. "Hello, in here, what's up?" "Ah, about the meeting. Yes, I know." He quickly turned to his wife. "My dear, please try to cook dinner a bit earlier, okay? I'll eat and then go out for a bit." "What is it this time? Are you going out to drink again?" "Goodness, how many times have I told you? We go for work when people need us, not for drinking. You've been working for several years, Mr. Sin. You should retire. I see your health declining a lot lately." "Are you mistaken, my dear? I'm as strong as an ox. Besides, I don't see anything strenuous about being village chief. In the future, I'll even get a pension. You're always so worried about my health. Do you see our peers? They work in the fields all day, then rest in the evening with their children and grandchildren, while I'm still getting calls in the middle of the night and have to go immediately. I've lived with you for 30 years. If we were newly married, I would have left you a long time ago." Lynn's half-joking, half-serious words made him chuckle. "Oh, you always say that, but how could you leave me? Back in my youth, I was quite handsome, you know. You were charmed by my looks, weren't you?" "Oh dear, we're old now. People will laugh if they hear that," and burst out laughing. "All right, I'm going to take a shower now. Please cook dinner a bit early." "Go on, but remember to come home early tonight." "I know." After dinner, the clock showed 6:00 p.m., and changed his clothes, got on his bike, and left. This time, he went to the town to meet some people from the Veterans Association and the Women's Union to receive lists and get updates on upcoming community activities. He heard that they would be providing 5 charity houses to poor families in the village who contributed to the revolution. On the way to town, he also passed the exact spot where Kui had had his accident yesterday. This road was quite deserted, with only a few scattered houses, and it was under urban planning, so all houses were tightly shut with for sale signs outside. It wasn't hard for him to spot the fresh white chalk lines on the road, marking the scene of the accident. These marks were still very new. With a touch of sadness, he muttered, "It's true he had an accident here. There was no one to help in time. What a cruel fate." Time passed like that until around 9:00 p.m. when his meeting ended. He felt a bit disappointed as the reality was different from the conflicting information he had received. There weren't 5 charity houses, only some gift packages. Leaving the meeting room and muttered, "If I had known, I would have just stayed home and waited. I could have received the gifts any time." He quickly hurried to his bike, started it, and drove off. But it seemed tonight wasn't a lucky night for him. After driving halfway, the motorbike suddenly made a loud noise and stopped. "Oh, what now?" and frowned, pulled over, and got off to check. He called it checking, but in reality and couldn't determine what was wrong nor how to fix it. He stood up, looking around, and remembered his conversation with his wife that afternoon, and slapped his forehead. "If my wife finds out when I get home, she'll definitely sing the same old song about me not listening to her." And at this very moment, and realized that just a few hundred meters ahead was the road where Qui's accident occurred. Not only that, but there were 2 figures standing there. Looking closer, these 2 seemed to be burning something, creating a flickering light. Curious, and also wanting to find help, and quickly pushed his motorbike forward. When he was only about 10 steps away, he recognized Mr. Sin's black car with the Fu Kui 2 license plate. The two people standing across the road were Fuok, Mrs. Hai's son, and a middle-aged man dressed in an ancient style, even wearing his hair long and tied up. Recognizing an acquaintance, and immediately called out, "Fuok! Is that you, Fuok?" The young man named Fuok startled and looked over. "Oh, isn't that village chief En? It's me. Why are you here, uncle?" "It's a long story. I was passing by on an errand when my bike broke down. What are you doing here, my boy? Are you bringing the master here to conduct the ceremony for Qui?" "Oh, is that so? Do you know if there's any place nearby to fix a motorbike?" "Goodness, where would I find a repair shop now? Do I have to walk all the way back to the village? My wife will definitely scold me for wasting gas money." "You don't have to do that, Uncle In. Find a place to park your bike, then I'll drive you home. We're done here and heading back to the village anyway." "Really, can you do that?" "Of course, Uncle, don't worry. You're quite close to the masters after all. If they weren't here, I'd still tell you to get in and I'd drive you home." "Oh, thank you then." For a while, and couldn't find any house with an open gate, so he just pushed his motorbike to the side of the road. Thinking about it, no thief would want to steal this motorbike anyway. It was old and broken. Perhaps only scrap metal dealers would. But now, he had no other choice. He would go home first and come back tomorrow when he had time to fix the bike. If it couldn't be fixed, he would probably have to buy another one. Around 10:00 p.m., Fuok and the other man finished their task. The two of them, along with En, got into the car to head back to the village, and sat in the back seat, while the man sat in the passenger seat next to Fuok, who was driving. After driving for a while, the atmosphere in the car became somewhat quiet, and then spoke up. "Sir, if you don't mind me asking, where are you from? I find you quite unfamiliar. You don't seem to be from Entai village." "Ah, I am a Feng Shui master. I am a friend of Mr. Sin. Today, his son's family had a misfortune, so I came to assist with the ceremony. And just now, I was at the accident site performing a ritual to retrieve his soul." And, hearing this, observed the other man more closely. Of course, he didn't believe in such things, so he intentionally asked a challenging question in return. "Oh, Mr. Feng Shui master, have you managed to retrieve Qui's soul yet?" "He refused to come back." "Oh, why would he refuse? I would think someone who died in an accident like him would want to return home." "This, I cannot know. It depends on the wishes of the departed soul. But after the burial, I will return here to perform the soul retrieval ritual again. It would be pitiful to let Qui wander around as a lost soul." "Is that so?" And just smiled and didn't ask anything further, because the Feng Shui master's answer aligned perfectly with his thoughts, and believed this was a deceptive play, a failed attempt at a ritual, so they were doing it a second time to have an excuse to ask for more money. Mr. Sin's family certainly wasn't lacking in money. They might even do it a third or fourth time, who knows. So, and secretly told himself, "This can't be. I must find Mr. Sin and warn him to be careful." He could lose billions of dong easily. He's already suffered the pain of losing a loved one. Now, to be scammed out of money, that would truly be misfortune compounded. At this point, and asked, "Fuok, this afternoon when I stopped by, I heard Feng say that Mr. and Mrs. Sin were at the hospital. Have they returned home yet?" "Yes, they have. Before I drove the Feng Shui master here, I dropped the master and mistress off first. Then I'll go back with you. I'll offer my condolences since I didn't see them this afternoon. Afterwards, I'll walk home." "Yes, that's fine, uncle." A moment later, Fuok drove the car back to the large gate. From inside the car and looked through the window and saw that the yard was emptier. Emptier compared to when he had visited earlier. He estimated there were still about 20 people chatting inside, and got out of the car and went inside. He also noticed that Fuok drove the Feng Shui master away somewhere. That was even better. He could now talk freely and warn Mr. Sin. Walking inside, a few people recognized and waved. "Village Chief En, hello everyone, where's Mr. Sin?" "He's inside," and nodded and walked directly into the main hall. A few women, likely relatives, were sitting, peeling fruit and whispering, and scanned the room and saw Mr. Sin sitting on a reclining chair, smoking a cigarette, his eyes fixed on the altar. And didn't rush over but went to the altar, took an incense stick and lit it. After placing the incense, he went over to his friend. "Mr. Sin?" Hearing his name, Mr. Sin finally looked up. "Oh, and how's your wife?" "She's fine, thank goodness. I had to persuade her a lot before she agreed to rest." This afternoon, I came to pay my respects, but Feng told me what happened, so I was a bit worried. Now that your wife is fine, that's good. But Mr. Sin, I have something to tell you. What is it? Earlier, on the way back, my motorbike broke down. By chance, I met Fuok and the Feng Shui master performing a ritual for Kui at the accident site. I got a ride home with them. Oh, is that so? What happened to your bike? Was it serious? No, it's fine. But about this, Mr. Sin, I advise you to be careful of that Feng Shui master. Careful, he's a renowned master, you know. Not just anyone can invite him. I'm a long-time friend, that's why he agreed to perform the ceremony. And shook his head. It's precisely those who claim to be reputable who should be questioned more. I just worry he'll find excuses to perform many rituals and trick you out of your money. No, I don't think so. He's doing it for free, not taking any money. I didn't want someone with his reputation to refuse. If so, he might be casting a small bait to catch a big fish. You have to trust me, I've seen many such cases reported in the news. And hadn't finished his sentence when he stopped, noticing the Feng Shui master walking in from outside. I'm just telling you this, you consider it, okay? It's getting late now, so I'll be leaving. I'll come by tomorrow if anything. Yes, please drive carefully, and nodded at Mr. Sin again and turned to leave. As he passed, he saw the Feng Shui master standing in front of Qui's altar, muttering incantations, and sighed internally, shook his head in resignation and walked away, walking alone on the deserted road that night and didn't encounter anyone else. All the houses around were closed, creating a chilling, desolate feeling. As he got closer to home and heard footsteps behind him, following his instinct, he turned around. In the light of the street lamp, he saw a figure standing not far away, but because it was in a hidden corner, he couldn't make out the person's face. He called out, "Who's there? Who are you?" The person didn't answer. Instead, they turned their back and walked away. And being a thoughtful person and given his job, immediately suspected a thief or some suspicious character. No one would just walk away when I ask who they are, but then hesitated a bit to chase after them. "Hey, you, whose child are you?" And suspicion grew more logical as the person started to speed up and eventually ran. But no matter what, and was getting old, and he couldn't keep up. After trying for over a minute, he completely lost sight of the person. Damn it, it must have been a thief. You're lucky I couldn't catch you. Go, find a decent job to do. And didn't know if the person heard him, but he couldn't do anything else. He turned and continued walking home. When he arrived home, he saw that his door was closed, but there was a light on inside. He entered through the main gate and called out from the yard, "Wife, my dear, open the door for me." Lynn quickly opened the door, and seeing her husband, she asked, "Oh, where's your motorbike?" "Don't even mention it. It broke down. I had to leave it on the road and ask someone to bring me home." "I told you so, but you wouldn't listen. Are your eyes open now?" I know. Tomorrow morning, I'll ask someone to take it there to be fixed." "What? Are you still planning to fix it? Just throw it away or sell it to a scrap dealer. Buying a used bike isn't that expensive now, just a few $100 million for a decent one. Honestly, every time I hear that rattling sound, it makes my head ache." "Don't worry, if I buy one, I'll buy one. Oh, I almost forgot. From now on, you always have to be vigilant and lock the doors, okay? I think those thieves might have their eyes on our house." "What do you mean by that?" And recounted his recent encounter. Lynn listened and then remarked, "They must be those vagrants looking for easy pickings. You never know with those kinds of gatherings. It's best we be careful." "I know, go inside, dear." Time slowly passed, it was now midnight, and lay in bed beside Lynn, who was sound asleep, and however was restless, not understanding why he felt so agitated and uncomfortable. His hands and feet were covered in goosebumps. After a while, feeling too uncomfortable, he decided to sit up and go outside to drink some water to regulate his body temperature. He even considered the possibility that he was getting sick. He went to the kitchen, opened the refrigerator, and took out a bottle of cold water. After tilting his head back and drinking almost half the bottle, he felt better. He was about to return to bed when he suddenly heard a rustling sound from outside the gate. Remembering what happened earlier, he became vigilant, not wanting to make any sudden moves that might alert someone, and tiptoed to the small gap in the gate. The street lamp outside was still shining, and he easily spotted someone standing in front of his house gate. The figure looked quite similar to the young man who had run away earlier. "So, "It was you, you bold fellow. If I catch you, I'll find out whose son you are, and there'll be trouble," and decided he would quietly teach the thief a lesson. He didn't go out through the main door but stealthily made his way to the back door, where he found a hoe leaning against the corner of the house to use as a weapon. And so he slowly, cautiously stalked forward. When he was about 5 steps from the yard and the gate, he took a deep breath, gripped the hoe tightly, and shouted, "Hey, you, stop right there." He thought his action would surprise the person and make them freeze, but the sudden shock came from him instead. Because the distance between them, combined with the light from the street lamp, was enough for him to clearly see the person's face. But the clearer he saw, the more he froze, because the person standing before him was Qui, Mr. Sin's son. But how could it be? Qui was dead. His hands and feet trembled even more when he saw that Qui's head was mangled, blood flowing profusely. And stammered, "Qui." Just then, a gust of wind blew, causing Qui's image to vanish. At that precise moment, and jolted awake, gasping, his eyes wide open. It took him a while to realize he was lying in his familiar bedroom. Lynn sat up. "What's wrong? You startled me out of my sleep. What did you dream about? Go back to sleep." Not wanting to disturb his wife's sleep and lay still, but the dream he had just experienced felt incredibly real. It took him about half an hour to calm his emotions. He thought that he had been tired from walking so much today, and with Qui's situation on his mind, he must have had such a vivid dream. After comforting himself, he slowly tried to close his eyes and resume sleeping. The sound of an early rooster crowing, along with Lynn's gentle shaking, woke him up. He frowned deeply and asked, "What is it, dear? Why are you waking me up so early today?" "Have you forgotten? It's 5:30 already." "That's still early. Let me sleep a bit longer." All right, just lie still. I'll go prepare breakfast." As soon as she finished speaking and heard his wife's footsteps, and he closed his eyes, trying to get a little more sleep. His whole body felt a bit sore, but just as he was drifting off, he heard footsteps again, followed by a hand gently shaking him. "My dear, I told you to let me sleep a bit longer. Why do you keep?" Before he could finish, he heard a voice whispering in his ear, "Uncle N, Uncle N." Of course, and recognized this was not his wife's voice. By instinct, he opened his eyes, and almost immediately, his throat tightened, because the person who had just spoken and shaken him was Qui. "Uncle and Uncle N?" And couldn't respond, or rather, he didn't know how. He gritted his teeth, mumbling, his body trembling. Outside, there were more footsteps. It was Lynn. "Dear, are you awake? It's 6:00 already." When the room door opened, Qui's figure vanished, and meanwhile lay on the bed, convulsing as if having an epileptic seizure. Dear, what's wrong with you?" My dear?" These were all he could utter before his eyes closed and everything plunged into darkness. When he woke up and was disoriented, finding himself in a hospital bed. Around him, nurses were cleaning and caring for other patients. He looked around and saw his wife sitting on the bed next to him. "My dear, you're awake? How are you feeling? Do you have any pain anywhere?" "I'm fine. Why am I here?" "You ask, do you know how worried you made me? You suddenly started convulsing out of nowhere. Luckily, I asked our neighbor, Mr. Vu, to rush over, otherwise you would have bitten your tongue off." "Really? I don't remember anything." "It's true, the doctor said they don't know yet and are still running tests, but they advised you to rest and limit your activities at your age. I told you, after this, even if you recover and are discharged, limit your involvement in village and commune affairs. Just use poor health as an excuse and retire." "My dear, you always tell me to give up after just a small setback. I'm serious. They don't think about themselves, but they should think about me and our children and grandchildren." And then saw his wife's red, tearful eyes on the verge of crying, so he softened his tone. All right, don't worry, dear. After I'm discharged, I'll balance things out myself. What time is it now?" "It's 2:00 p.m. 2:00 p.m.? I've been unconscious for so long. Yes, that's right. Are you hungry now?" "Hungry? Yes, you're the only one who understands me. I'm famished." "Just lie down and rest. I'll go get some milk and crackers for you to eat temporarily. Now, I'll go home to prepare for dinner and go to the market. I'll be back around 5 or 6 p.m. Remember to stay put, don't wander around." I know. Please don't say any more." After giving her husband a few more instructions, Lynn left. Lying alone in bed, feeling a bit bored, and picked up his phone to call his son and talk to his grandson. Since it was the weekend, he assumed the whole family would be home. However, the first call went unanswered. and felt a bit curious. "Where is that boy?" he called again, and this time the call connected quickly. But on the other end, it wasn't his son's voice but a static sound, like a radio with signal interference. Did my phone break? Like many people do when their electronic devices malfunction, and slapped his phone a few times. When he held it to his ear again, the static was gone, but what he heard was a chilling voice. "Grandpa, Grandpa, I'm cold," followed by moaning sounds. And of course, and immediately recognized whose voice it was. He dropped the phone, quickly ending the call. What was that? Just then, the phone rang again, and stammered because the screen still showed his son's number calling him, and had just dropped the phone, causing it to lose signal. His actions and loud, frightened voice startled the other patients in the room, who turned to look at him. When he calmed down, he stammered, "Oh, it's nothing, excuse me." He carefully bent down to pick up the phone, but he didn't dare use it anymore. He opened the cover and removed the battery. From that moment on, he felt a churning in his stomach and restlessness, because that wasn't a dream just now, and Quiz's voice was unmistakably the same as in his dream last night. And put his hand to his forehead and muttered, "What's wrong with me?" Luckily, the hospital room was quite crowded, so Anne's creepy thoughts were somewhat alleviated. Around 5:30 p.m., Lynn returned, carrying a box of rice for her husband. She placed it on the table and didn't forget to ask, "How are you feeling? Do you feel tired anywhere?" "I'm fine, here's your rice, eat up. I also cooked stir-fried meat with shrimp paste, your favorite. There's a bowl of vegetable soup too. Eat it all, okay? Then take your medicine." Lynn expected compliments or her husband's usual cheerfulness, but no. She quickly noticed his strained expression, especially his eyes, which kept darting in different directions. His wife immediately sat down. "What's wrong with you?" "Nothing's wrong with me." "Are you sure?" "I'm sure I'm fine. Where's the rice? Give it to me, I'm starving." "Here's your rice, eat slowly, don't choke." While Anne ate, Lynn suddenly remembered something and turned to him. "Oh, there's something else. Do you want to hear it?" "What is it?" "But you have to promise me you won't get angry after I tell you." "Don't worry, I don't have the strength to get angry now. Just tell me what happened." "This morning, when I went to the market to buy groceries for dinner, I heard people talking about Mr. Sin." "What now?" "They said Quiz Ghost appeared in our village." No need to say more, and almost dropped the rice box he was holding. Lynn saw this and quickly cried out, "Oh no, I won't tell you anymore. I knew you'd react like this when I mentioned it, but you didn't have to throw the rice away like that. I cooked it all afternoon." But then Lynn saw her husband's trembling eyes and hands, which didn't look like anger. "What's wrong with you, dear?" "My dear, what are you saying?" "I'm not going to tell you anymore." Tell me. I heard people say that someone saw Quiz Ghost appearing on our road this morning. It asked for directions home, and it was so bloody and terrifying." "Oh, then that's right. Right what?" "Then that's right." For the first time in his life, after over 50 years, and finally knew what it felt like to be truly terrified. It was no longer a dream. He began to believe in the existence of Quiz Ghost. Seeing her husband's state, Lynn asked, "Are you hiding something from me?" It seems I met Quid, dear." "You met him?" "Yes," and slowly recounted everything from last night until now. It must be said that Lynn was not like her husband. She was a person who believed in ghosts. So she immediately exclaimed, "Goodness, and you were going to hide this from me?" "No, I just thought my health wasn't good, so I was having strange dreams." "Dreams, it's real. This cannot be left alone." "So, what are you planning to do?" I think if this continues, Quim might try to possess someone else or take someone's life. That's not good. Listen to me tomorrow, find a master to perform a ritual." "But isn't this going too far? I don't think this is a good idea. If anyone should find a master, it should be Mr. and Mrs. Sin, not me. What does this have to do with me?" "Are you crazy? Let them do it, and then what if something happens to you? If they don't find a master, then I will. I'm telling you, you won't stop me this time." All right. I'll perform the ritual, but you don't need to find a master. I know someone." "You know a master?" "I'll ask the master who is helping Mr. Sin's family with the ceremony. He's quite renowned, and he helps without taking money. I'll ask him." "All right then, let's decide on that. I think we should go home. I don't have any illness that requires me to stay in the hospital like this. If I go home, I can still ask someone to perform the ritual. What if Kui appears again if I stay here? Lin didn't rush to answer but quickly stood up to talk to the doctor. After a discussion, the hospital agreed to let him go home, provided he came back for tests tomorrow. Around dusk, the couple arrived home. The first thing Lin did was rush to the ancestral altar in the house. She lit 2 incense sticks and urged her husband, "Come here quickly." "What are you doing?" "I said come here, stand here, light incense, and pray to our ancestors for their protection." And though still a bit tired, nodded and complied. After lighting the incense, he changed his clothes and went to Mr. Sin's funeral. But this time, his purpose wasn't to pay respects but to find the Feng Shui master. Everything seemed to go smoothly. When it arrived, he saw the master outside the gate, talking to Fuok, so he immediately walked over. "Mr. Feng Shui master." "Oh, village chieftain, what brings you here?" "I heard Mr. Sin tell me about you. You told him to be careful of me, a non-believer, right? Though I respect you, I don't really believe in these things. Now, do you want to consider me crazy or will you perform the ritual for me? If you want to declare me crazy and make me sign a commitment, let's do it tomorrow, because tonight I have a ritual to summon Qui's soul." "Oh no, I didn't mean anything by that, sir. I just wanted your help." "What, are you serious?" "I'm serious, this is completely true, please help me." "But help with what? What do you need my help for that is so secretive and concerns your house and Qui?" "Oh, what are you talking about? I don't understand." And sighed deeply and recounted everything he had experienced. Listening, the Feng Shui master asked, "So, when you saw him, did he say anything?" "No, I was so scared I nearly died. He just kept calling my name. Do you have any way for me to escape this situation? If you do, I'll be forever grateful, master." The Feng Shui master nodded. "Yes, there is a way, and I see you're fortunate to have come to me just in time. If you had waited a few more days, Qui would have become a ghost, and he would possess you and cause all sorts of trouble." "Goodness, what do you mean by that, master? I don't have any of those things in my house." "Wait a moment, please." The Feng Shui master then turned and went back inside the house. A moment later, he emerged with a small talisman in his hand. "Here, take this talisman and carry it with you. With it, Qui's ghost won't dare to come near, so you just need to carry it tonight. After I finish the ritual, Qui won't dare to bother anyone anymore." "I understand. How much does it cost?" "No money. You are Mr. Sin's friend, and thus my friend. I'm not offended by your earlier words about questioning me." "Oh, there's nothing to be offended about. You had good intentions, that's why you spoke like that. So now, you take this talisman home and carry it with you tonight and stay inside the house. No matter what happens, you must not break this rule. Understood?" "I understand." After thanking the Feng Shui master a few times and quickly returned home. Upon arriving, he informed his wife, Lin, who was very happy. "Oh, thank goodness. Remember to follow the master's instructions, dear." "I know, but do we have any food left, dear? I made extra rice tonight, and now I'm starving." "Luckily, I cooked a bit too much, so there's still some left. You stay here for a moment, I'll go heat it up so we can both eat." "Oh, I know." A moment later, after finishing dinner, and put the talisman into his shirt pocket and took another dose of the medicine the doctor prescribed, hoping it would work quickly. As he felt his eyes growing heavy, he also felt a slight apprehension, fearing he would dream of Qui again. But he could only fight it for about half an hour before drifting into unconsciousness. He didn't know how long he had been asleep when he started hearing whispers in his ear. "Uncle N, Uncle N." He opened his eyes and once again saw Qui in his dream. He stammered, "Qui, please leave me alone. Qui, I have no grudge against you." But then he realized Qui was standing outside the window, his hand trying to reach closer. But he seemed to be blocked by some invisible force. Remembering the talisman in his pocket and quickly took it out. He held it up in front of Qui, and at the same moment, a surge of power pushed Qui far away. And felt a surge of joy, realizing the talisman truly worked. He clutched the talisman in his hand. "Go ghost, go reincarnate, I don't want to hurt you, Qui." Qui then fell to his knees in the yard, shouting, "Grandpa and Grandpa, help me, you've been tricked, Grandpa, help me." As soon as he finished speaking, an invisible chain flew out and tightly wrapped around Qui's neck. And very quickly, this invisible chain pulled Qui's ghost away. And meanwhile woke up with a start. He was gasping for breath. He reached for the talisman in his pocket and muttered, "Thank goodness it was just a dream." But then he began to feel a strange unease, remembering Qui's words just before he vanished. What did Qui say? Something about being tricked. Not stopping there, he remembered the Feng Shui master had said he would perform the soul retrieval ritual for Qui tonight. But if it was just retrieving a soul, why would Qui cry out for help like that? Tossing and turning, wrestling with these chaotic thoughts, and realized this wasn't right. He made a bold decision. He would go to the accident site to see the Feng Shui master's ritual. After all, the master would be there, and he would surely protect him. So, and immediately sat up, but a problem arose. He had no vehicle. And almost at that moment, he heard his neighbor, Mr. Vu, driving home, and quickly ran over. "Mr. Vu, can you give me a ride over there?" "Oh, and I just came back from drinking. I'm a bit drunk. If you want to go, take my car, but I can't drive you." "Thank you, I'll return the car as soon as I'm done." "Be careful driving." With that, and took the keys from Mr. Vu's hand, got in the car and drove off. But as he drove out of sight, Mr. Vu opened his gate and muttered, "Wherever you're going, go nearby. My car is almost out of gas." And of course couldn't hear this. He continued to drive as fast as he could. And when he was just a few hundred meters from the accident site, the car indeed ran out of gas, and gritted his teeth. Goodness, what is happening? He tried to look ahead and saw Mr. Sin's car parked there with a few other people. So he parked the car and ran on foot. As he got closer, he was about to call out, but for some reason and decided to remain silent and observe. He didn't want to interrupt the ceremony. Standing near the car, he recognized the Feng Shui master, Fuok the driver, and Mr. and Mrs. Sin. Since everyone's attention was probably on the Feng Shui master and the ritual, no one noticed his presence. And because of this, he overheard the conversation of the group. "Feng Shui master, are you sure tonight's ritual will be successful?" "I'm very sure. Now I know why it failed last time. At that time, Olden passed by, sensing positive energy, and my spell was broken. Qui's soul escaped and followed him. Tonight I've prepared everything meticulously. And this road is deserted, there's no one around. Qui will definitely not be able to cause any more trouble. Your family's matter will also be completely successful. No need to wait any longer. Tomorrow you can welcome the real Qui home. He won't stay in this village. Let him stay in the city. Besides, his wife is about to give birth." Mr. Sin said, filling up his wife's gas tank. "After the funeral tomorrow, you also go up to the city to take care of our daughter-in-law and grandson properly. That girl is about to give birth to her second child. Urge her to have 2 more children." Don't worry. The truth was now revealed. It turned out that the person who died in the accident was not Mr. Sin's biological son, but merely a replacement, a substitute. Going back hundreds of years to the ancestors of the Sin family, they didn't simply become wealthy through business. Hidden beneath it was a pact with a devil. To achieve glory and riches, the Sin family had to sacrifice the male children in their family. In turn, each generation would have 3 sons die at the ages of 10, 20, and 30. After completing this, the family would continue to be wealthy and prosper. In previous generations, because it was ancient times, having many children was common, and young deaths due to war and disease were considered normal. Therefore, no one paid attention until Mr. Sin's generation. He had planned to have 4 sons, intending to keep one last son to continue the family tradition. But ironically, after Feng, his daughter, was born, he and his wife could no longer have children. Facing the prospect of having no male heirs, when Qui was 5 years old, the couple fabricated a story that their son was living with an acquaintance. At the same time, they adopted another child of Qui's age and also named him Qui. Now, they brought the master to perform the ritual to put this replacement child into the family register, thus legitimizing the sacrifice. Years passed, Mr. Sin's biological son continued to live a peaceful, prosperous life with a team of servants in his own house in the city. The replacement child was raised by the couple in their village house. This was also why the child did not receive much love from them. The recent accident marked the completion of a sacrificial ritual. But an unexpected problem arose. Qui's soul died at an auspicious time, turning him into a ghost. Not wanting his plan to be exposed, or for the other family members to be avenged by Qui, Mr. Sin once again asked the Feng Shui master to perform a ritual to suppress the ghost. After hearing the entire truth, and was speechless, because he never expected that the couple he considered good people were actually so cruel. For all these years, he had believed they were good people, but now he knew they were not, and decided he would not let this evil continue. He took his phone from his pocket and discreetly called the commune police. By the time the ritual was almost complete, shouts suddenly began to erupt. Of course, the police's presence here would not completely solve the problem, because they weren't doing anything illegal from a legal standpoint. So, and only needed this to cause a disturbance and distract them. While Mr. and Mrs. Sinh and the Feng Shui master were explaining to the police and walked to the altar. Earlier, he had vaguely heard that Quiz Soul would be controlled by a small bottle, the Feng Shui master's magical artifact. Inside this bottle, the master had imprisoned a very powerful infant demon, capable of easily controlling Quiz Soul. But the master had warned to be extremely careful, because if the demon escaped, it would no longer obey him but would turn to seek revenge. To train it, the Feng Shui master had to use extremely evil methods. Waiting for this moment and grabbed the small bottle and violently smashed it onto the road. A shattering sound echoed. The Feng Shui master turned, his eyes wide. What was that, old man? But as he was about to rush over and grab in, the Feng Shui master fell to the ground as if an invisible force had broken his back. Before he passed out, he could only let out cries for help and mercy. The scene became chaotic, so it invited everyone to the police station. After they all left and looked around. Then, hidden in the opposite corner of the road, he noticed a familiar figure. It was Kui. He had 2 red eyes like burning coals, staring at him, and whispered, "Kui, it's too late now. Be at peace, my son, don't be angry." Before he could finish, Kui's ghost vanished. Towards dawn and returned home. What awaited him were Lin's worries and nagging, but when he recounted everything, she was utterly bewildered. After finishing, he instructed his wife not to tell anyone about this. Whatever happened next would be the law of karma. They, as mere mortals, couldn't stop it. And just as predicted, the next day, Mr. Sin's biological son died in an accident. After hearing the tragic news, Mr. and Mrs. Sin were like madmen. Now, although they had a grandson and their daughter-in-law was pregnant with her second child, both of them knew that it was only a matter of time before these 2 children would also die. Their family's desperate measures only intensified. Until one day, Feng discovered her parents had committed suicide by drinking pesticide. When the news spread through the village, everyone was extremely surprised. No one knew the painful truth. They only assumed that Mr. and Mrs. Sin had taken their own lives out of grief over Kui. After holding a funeral for her parents, Feng also tried to overcome the family's business troubles. But the harder she tried, the more she failed. Finally, after just 2 short years, all the family's assets vanished into thin air. Feng had to sell even their house to pay off debts. After that, people rumored that she went abroad to find a husband and never returned.